Hello, this is JilliBling. Today's project is a little bit oceany seaside wishes. Isn't that cute? And the dies we'll be using Everyday Details is for the words. Seaside Wishes is for the starfish. And Beauty of the Deep is for the, is that coral? I think that's the coral. I think that's what you call it. I keep wanting to say it's algae, but I know it's not that. So, a little bit of watercoloring, but that is today's project. And this I copied from the Crafty Oink Pen, Michaela. Here. I have it right here. And I'll go through the paper cut sizes, and then I'll hold it up my little cheat sheet with the card. This is from Michaela Tetheridge, the Crafty Oink Pen. She does beautiful work. Okay, and at the end, I received a few cards and I'd love to show them to you. So I will do that at the end. And this was a swap from Cancun, and that is using the same bundle, and I love this swap. This is that new color, the basic beige ribbon. And I think these are the neutral adhesive back sequins. And we'll be using some of the flat pearls and watercolor paper right there. And this bundle is on page 73, and you get the three items: the stamp set, the dies, and the hybrid embossing folder. And I'm going to do another video where I use the hybrid embossing folder, so I'll show you how to do that. It's a lot of fun. I don't want to bury those cards. Okay, so the watercolor paper, Fluid 100 watercolor paper, and it comes in its 5x7. And at first when I got this, I thought, what happened? Did I order the right item? And it just, this is the size it comes, which is fine because it works perfectly for my card. So we'll be using that. And basic beige, which is for this layer right here, for the greeting, and for right here. So let's get started on this. These are pieces just to work with. I call it scrap, but it's not that it's scrap, it's just little extra leftover pieces. So here's crumb cake. It's 5.5 by 8.5. We'll fold that in half. And if ever you wanted to play around with watercoloring, we're going to do a few examples. We'll do a little bit of splattering, definitely watercoloring to get the blue background, watercoloring to get color on the starfish. So we could pull out our watercolor brushes and spritzers too. Okay, and this is the basic beige. This piece will go under here. And I'll have you note that putting these together right now, easy as can be. But after you get color on this watercolor paper, and after it dries, it curls up. So I have a few hints on that. So for the inside and the outside. And the watercolor paper is 3.25 by 4.5. And the beige piece is 3.5 by 4.75. For the words, I just used some scrap pieces. After I cut the basic beige, I had some strips left over. Oh, is this the right one? That's where it was. So this one right here left over. And that's just what I'm calling scrap. Just extra pieces. And then for the starfish, just the scrap you have left over from cutting your watercolor paper. And for the coral, I keep on hand Stampin' Up white paper, which I love. That's 2 3/4 by 8.5. I always keep a bunch on hand, and that is for the white coral. Okay, ready to do a screenshot? This card, these measurements. Make sure you can see it. There you go. Snap. Okay. let's do the watercoloring. That is the most fun. So watercolor this piece and this piece. These two right here need some blue on them. So the blues that I picked out, and I think you could pick out any color blue you want, is Azure Afternoon and Blueberry Bushel. But like if you wanted it to be darker, deeper, you could go with Navy or even Misty Moonlight. And I'm putting ink on the block because in the past, until recently, I would take my aqua painter, water painter, go directly in the pad, pick up color, but I had no control over the color as it went on the paper. And didn't like that, but another thing is it left a big old almost white or like a white blue spot, and that's just because I picked up all the ink and I watered it down right there. So I found that doing it this way, I have more control over it, and I don't have to re-ink my pad because I just picked up a little bit of color, and I could always dip it right back into there again. Okay, so to do the watercoloring, and I'm trying to do this so you're not scared of it, so you'll give it a try. I'm going to start with a spritzer, color spritzer. They're in the catalog. They're not that expensive. They're a lot of fun. This one, if you're like, oh, that's discolored a little bit compared to this one, that one might have some shimmer in it too. Okay, this one has no shimmer. This is just plain water. But these, I took my Stella. Oh, you know what? Hold on. My Stella, I opened this up and I squeezed 3 drops into here. So this water is a little bit, oh, look at that. The water is a little sparkly, which I'm loving. Your Wink Stella, oh, you could sparkle your what is it? It's not a sand dollar, it's not a seahorse, it is a starfish. You could sparkle your starfish. I should have done that. Well, I am doing that. Sparkle your starfish. They look so much, everything is better with bling on it, right? Oh, look how cute that is. Okay, everyone needs lots of winks. I should let that stay open to kind of dry. Stay open, that's good. Okay, so open this up, take this, squeeze a few drops in there, fill the rest up with water, and when you spritz it, this has just a little sparkle to it. So each of the spritzers I found is a little bit different. So I'm going to do this one. See? Oh, okay, so this is the one that has a nice soft spray. Awesome. Good coverage. Okay, but which one? This one has lots of sparkle in it. One of them has a very direct spray. This one is spraying over there. I need to work on that one. I think, oh yeah, I did one with just plain water. This one, the spray goes right there, like right here. Well, it's not like something is jamming it up. Okay, so a wash of water. And in the end, this is, oh, look how I got water even over to here. Oop. Oop. Hold on. Hold on. That was probably that one that was spraying just that one direction. It's crazy driver. Okay, so let's pick up some color with, I'm going to use this brush, which is a really broad brush for the starfish. This one here, which is like a big tip, pick up color and maybe give it a little bit of a squeeze. Otherwise, that's not bad. There's no water in here. Wouldn't you know? And on the front, you want the front to be maybe darker than the inside. The inside you could write on it. Okay, so when I give it, there we go. And see how it just naturally kind of makes its way? Okay, and same thing over here. I don't like how that's all dark right there. If it wasn't curling up, it wouldn't be a problem. And if I kept on going over all of this, it would become blue, and it would become a combination of the two colors, where here you can see there's darker and there's lighter and there's nothing. So at this point I'm going to leave it like this. I kind of want this to be a little bit flatter so it dries nicer. And you can take your heat tool to it and dry it. I might do a little bit of that. I want to get some kind of lighter out through here. Maybe if I give it a squeeze. This watercolor paper is saying the last thing I need is more water. See it running? I'm trying to get some of the color off so I could get lighter. But I want some of the watercolor paper to be without ink. Otherwise, I might as well just have blue paper. Okay, I want some darker spots. And after this dries, you could go on with a whole second layer of color, which is really cool for depth. If you have all different layers of color. But I think I'm going to leave it just like this. And as I'm doing this, I'm thinking, well, I did that all kind of dark. So what's going to be the inside? If you have a dark pen, you can write. You just get a Sharpie to write on this card. Okay, dry. So that's it for the watercolor. Oh, we have to freckle. But I'll do that after this dries a bit. So I'm looking at the side. See how it's kind of pooling right here? If I were to take this, hold it up, and let that color kind of drift over here, that's better. And it dries maybe quicker than you might think it would because it's watercolor paper. And even if it dries just like that, that's okay. There, now it'll dry flat. Isn't that kind of fun though? So we're done with this. Oh, we still have to do that freckling. Yeah, ink everywhere. Okay, dry, y'all. So let's see, what else can we work on? Let's work on cutting out the white coral, doing the words, and cutting out the starfish. So the starfish, this could be for the words. These are papers. This is for the coral. Let's cut out 3 coral. Look how pretty. Isn't that pretty? Look at it against the blue. So now you know why I was going for like dark blue, because it really makes the white stand out. Okay, and then on watercolor paper, let's do 2 big starfish and 4 little ones. You're like, wait a minute. So 2 big ones and 4 little ones. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's cut them out of watercolor paper. Here's for the front. I might have to change papers. This is really wet and really blue. Here's the other 3. Because I put the block there, it's heavy in ink there. What about over here? That one's fine. Okay, these are doing good drying. Because see how they're a little bit more flat? I'll put it right up on top of here. Get air going around it. Dry, dry. Isn't that pretty though? Aww. Okay. Starfish. So to do the starfish, 2 colors. Cajun Craze for the freckles and crumb cake for the base. And if you're saying in your head, Nana, what is that? So, see these little freckles on here? That's a stamp. This stamp right here. That's for the Cajun Craze freckles. And then I did the base in crumb cake. And you know, I tried doing crumb cake paper and just putting the freckles on it. It was really boring. It looked like it had chicken pox. These kind of do too, but it's better. It looks a little bit more realistic, especially with the sparkle on it. Okay, so to do that, we need to do these in crumb cake. So, you know my plan here, crumb cake. I might need more than that. It's a little darker. Then Cajun Craze. This is a color I hardly ever use. The stamp pad is probably saying, thanks for finally pulling me out. And it does perfect for this project. And my aqua painter, water painter, back in the day they were called aqua painter. The new ones are water painters. And the new one, to open, I'll show you the old way. Turn it. You're ready to roll. Use your little filler. New one wasn't working. I had Tony take it out in the shop with his grips, open it up. We destroyed one. You turn it backwards. Then it opens. That's how you fill it. Just regular water. Oh, go backwards. Okay, so let's start out with crumb cake. Tony's coming out of the shower. He might come and say hello because he's really touched by all those cards. I can't wait to share them with you. I let him open them first, and today he goes, you have to read this one. You have to read the note, Betty. Betty wrote me a note. And I'm like, okay, and oh, I won't read the note, but it's very, very touching. Okay, so this is crumb cake, and you can tell I'm not really getting 100% coverage. And there you could say, oh, that was a little bit darker, but it all works out really well. Like right there, you could say that one's not very smooth and pretty starfish-like, but wait till you see them at the end. So this, I didn't do the spritz of color at first, just because the brush is so big and it's providing a lot of water already. And I'm doing a few layers of color anyhow. And I'm okay if they come out a little splotchy. This one, it looks like that's almost has green in it. This one, it looks like some of the Cajun Craze jumped into the crumb cake. I might have to get more crumb cake ink. More crumb cake. Crumb cake. See, it's a little bit splotchy, but that's how Mother Nature is. And if there's more water, like if you squeeze the brush, it comes out smoother because there's water to smooth out all that pigment in the ink. Okay, and a few of these were looking, like this to me is looking more like Cajun Craze rather than crumb cake. Okay. And just like people, come in all different tones. Which is good, because if they were all exactly the same, in your card that wouldn't look so good. It looks better when they're all just a little bit different. That way you could say, yeah, I made it. Okay, so I'm just going to set this off to the side. That's for the words. And while these are just a little bit, like if I touch it, I could say, it needs more dry time. But that's part of my plan. How's this doing? It's doing good. Again, I could feel through here. Still needs a little bit more dry time. Okay, so with Cajun Craze and the freckles, let's kind of decorate. And remember how I said that it was still kind of wet? That makes the freckles smear a bit, which is part of the plan. Looks like chicken pox going on, huh? Some of these I kind of caught an edge. There's a line on there, but it's going to be just fine. Okay, so next step is Cajun Craze wash over all of that. And that will make the little dots be less prominent and also give the starfish, see out here, they're freckles and they're crumb cake. Here these are a little bit more red. That's going to be the goal. So I'm picking up just a little bit of color and I'm giving the brush a squeeze because I want the color kind of watery. And after I kind of wash this with the Cajun Craze, it's going to dole out the strong dots, but also give it an overall Cajun Craze color. See the difference in them? And this one, with it being red, which is on the color wheel somewhat opposite of blue, it makes it stand out more. Okay, 4 little starfish. Give that a squeeze. One more. Okay, I think we're done with these colors. All we have left to do is speckle the watercolor paper, the blue watercolor paper. So put all these off to the side because they don't need blue speckles on them. And I'm going to get another paper, an old paper, put it over here, just because when I did the speckling for this, I had blue speckles everywhere. There, how is that for making use of a paper? Lots of color on it. Okay, I think I need more azure because I want them to be dark. So blueberry, that's blueberry. Okay, so speckle that and this. Aren't those pretty? If you like blue, they're pretty. This one, we did blue. So I'm going to pick up a lot of color, take my snips and then hit right about here, trying to make it do freckles. Give it a little bit of a squeeze. That's all it takes. If you give it a big squeeze, you get kind of watery color drops. If you give it a little squeeze, you get this. Okay, that's it. That's quite some freckling. Oh, the blue went way over here. Well, the blue went like everywhere. Wow. See, I didn't do that much of it. I mean, everywhere. Well, my starfish have been, I should have had them upside down. They have blue speckles on them. Okay, how about if I change these up for some dry ones with no speckles? And see how these papers are not too bad, but they're definitely still wet. It's kind of challenging when you put adhesive on the back of it. First of all, if it's still wet, adhesive doesn't want to stick. And once these dry, they're going to be curled up like this. So if you put glue, I'm not going to do it because they're not dry all over. Put glue kind of ziggle-zaggle around every little bit of it, including the corners, and then layer it onto the basic beige, and then put some weight on it, and I've got that done. Yeah. Let me get a new one. So here is a good reason to have big blocks, because look at that, as flat as can be. So I had these sitting for maybe a half an hour. It's probably the most I've used those big blocks in a long time. Okay, so we have all of our little elements. This one is darker, so it's going to get the big starfish and one little one. And then this one is lighter, so it'll get these three. Let's put this here. How about if we do the words? So this one, I used these words. Your friendship is the best gift. But I like the love you. And then sometimes the simplest things mean the most. I want to put that on the inside. So let's do the, in Memento Black, the love you right here. And if you're thinking that die is too big for these words, I cut it out, then turned it around and cut it again. So I cut off just that much. So pretend like this isn't here. Put it right where I want it. because I like that much left over. Crank it through, so then you have a little piece. Lift this up and put it just on your piece, and you get this. So that can go on here. And we need to put the coral on. So here's the coral. One is for the inside, then there's these two. And the coral die has this stem on it. And I really don't want that stem to show. I just want it to be like random coral. So this one, when I die cut it, it just was off. So I'm just going to cut this and pretend like I'm making coral pieces. Just so it's in two pieces, it's easier to work with. Positioning it on the blue watercolor paper. So that one could go there. And I really don't like that end, so let's try this one. Yeah, that's better. Those are pretty ends. And this one could go here. Maybe like that. And then same thing here. And because the die, the coral is so random, it's hard to do wrong. Whatever you cut, it's just fine. This one could go like that. That one looks like it's becoming the stem, so maybe I'll... But after you put the starfish on, you can't really tell which side is up. And I know the words are going to go here. I'll just make sure that a starfish is right over that. And see how when it's darker blue, it makes the coral really stand out. Okay, so, let's put this piece on the card base. Just because I'll have some pieces hanging over and it'll kind of help. So that goes on with dimensionals. Oh, and if you would like to order anything, if you could use this host code, that is appreciated. So, because this is glued on, this is like Frisbee. Okay, which side do I want up? I don't think it matters. Then on the inside, this one just goes on flat. Oops. If ever you have something like that, I just did it on my mat, take hand sanitizer. Or I could take this, but I don't think that this works too good. Because that adhesive is so sticky. It works a little bit, but it's still tacky. Take hand sanitizer, and that will dissolve the alcohol will dissolve the stickiness. Okay, that's inside. Oh, I should have stamped my words. I'm living on a limb here. Okay, so these are going to be ready to stick down. I like that top. I'm thinking about where the words are going to go. They could cover up this piece. Here. Starfish can cover that up. Okay, so glue. Okay, now push that down because it's probably going to start popping up. I'll push it down after the glue has a second to kind of start to gel up and hold a little bit better rather than just being all liquidy. Okay. So this will go here. I wanted to cover up these ends, and this can cover, see how there's kind of a seam through there? Just like that. This one could be down here. I don't like that end. Perfect. Kind of, that could be this one. And I like it when the starfish is right against the dark blue. I think it makes it kind of shine a little bit more. Oh, we had to Stella them too. Okay, and then I need, on this one I used the Baker Twine Essential Pack, and it comes in neutral colors. Baker Twine Essential Pack. And I used the gray, granite gray. I kind of want to use linen thread or white. I think white might just get lost with the coral, so I'm going to try linen thread. Black would be too strong. The vanilla might work with the beige. So to do this, and I know my little starfish aren't down yet, I'm going to put 2 dimensionals on the back, or maybe 3 dimensionals. Okay, as many as I could fit. 4. And you know, usually I'm not quite this excessive, but this is going to hold on the linen thread. So take the linen thread. Oop, this is a new one. I have to get an old one. Now that was lucky. Okay, and wrap it around your hand twice. Trim it off. And take these 2 end pieces, do a figure 8. And thinking this is upside down, so I would just put it in the middle, but I think I want it, let's just try that. And if I don't like the loops after I get it on here, I can adjust everything. I want that end to show. I should first check it, see if it's going in the right direction. It is. Okay, so this is going to come hanging off the edge just a little bit, about right there. And because the linen thread is taking up the stickiness of the dimensional, you might have to put some glue under the dimensional or more dimensionals. But because I put 4 on, that should be good. Okay, so now I'm going to stick the starfish on with dimensionals, and you have to use lots of little half pieces. So this one can do a hole, and over here, let's do some little slivers. Wow, just take a bunch of it. Just because the starfish arms They're all a little bit small. And if you can, get the dimensional way out to the end. On the sample card, I didn't. I put it closer to the center, and the arms are kind of curling up and probably not so good. The rain is coming down. I didn't water today. That's my job. Tony can't do it. Okay. Some of these I'm trying to make them a little thinner. Like this starfish arm is a little bit narrow. Can't get that back in place. And I know I strategically had it placed over some of the seams. How about right there? I could put a full mini there. How many arms? 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 5. Way out to the end. Oh, we still have to do the little mini one too. Okay. So this one, you could be playing in the strings. Oh, I had to think about strategically placing it over the coral seams. How about there? It's kind of nice that there's the big border, because if the starfish goes a little bit outside the box, it's okay. Oh, these are really tiny ones. Rather than tiny, it's just it's narrow. That's a narrow one. Oop, I lost the stickum. Okay, redo. And if ever your scissors, like see on my scissors how I have that from trying to do many, get your adhesive remover and it will take it right off. Or hand sanitizer. And now my scissors, my snips are going to work like a champ. Yeah. Okay, one more. That last super narrow one just didn't do too good. Okay, there is a little one. And that is a lot of stuff to cover up. I kind of like it over the words. Okay, over the words and covering that up. Okay, sparkle. Stella. Stella. Oh, and if you get a new Stella, when you get it, you have to take this part off because there's a black ring around here. The black ring stops any of the sparkle from coming out. So you take this off, pull off the black ring, throw it away, put this on, and you can feel it kind of set down into there and open up the chamber to this part here that has sparkle in it. Okay, so sparkle. Oh, that is so pretty. I don't know, do sand dollar or starfish sparkle? Mine do, but like in nature. I don't know that they have a shimmer on them. These are just special ones. Oh, and now it's time for those gems. These. Oop, and I got one big old pearl in there. Couldn't tell you what that's about. Okay, so I'm going to put on 3 of these. One, 3 might be too much. 2, 3 it is. Three. Okay, so let's do a little on the inside. So the inside, these are all just glued down. You absolutely made my day. Oh, you have to stamp on there. I already stuck it in there. Okay. Okay. So what's it say on the outside? On the outside it says, love you. And here, sometimes the simplest things mean the most. Okay, let's see how that works. Works good. Okay. There's a little, sometimes stamping on watercolor paper, because it has a bit of a texture to it, a little challenging, but I think it'll still be okay. I might find that special pen I have. Maybe. Here it is. That's better. And I'm just going to leave it. There's some areas, but you could still read it, so that's good enough. Like I could go over here and I could go over that, but just leave it. Okay, so to do this, this will go right here. Kind of big. Well, that's okay. Glue it down. This coral gets to keep some of its stem. And I'm going to go to some of the outside pieces just to hold it down. Okay. This could go right here. Okay, and let me check these. This one looks brightest. These two look a little dark, so this one will be in the middle. Then these will get a little sparkle. Then I think that's it. Then I could show you the cards. And I want them to be random. I don't want them all being perfect. Okay, I think that's it. So here's the front. Do you see the sparkle on it? And the inside. And this one is the same but different. Pretty, huh? Okay, so that is it for the project. Now let me show you these cards. So we already saw this one. And the embossing folder, it will do the die cutting and the texturing all at once. But we'll do that, that will be next. And this is from Betty Hayden in Fresno. Look how cute. See how sparkly that is? And here is the sweet note she wrote. Hope you'll be feeling better soon, Betty. Betty, I love this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's very pretty. And Beverly from New York sent in, and she had this folded through the mail like this, so that when you open it up, the front is all protected. And isn't that nice? Just very pretty. Yeah. And I'll be sending thank you cards to all of you soon, tomorrow. This one is from Kathy in Florida. Sending you sunshine, laughter, and hugs. And look at the little mail. I love this stamp set. Nice liner on it. Oh, signed her name. Very nice, Kathy. Thank you. And then this is not a get well card, but a card from Jude. Look at this. Can you tell how nice it is? This is the Layers of Beauty bundle. So it looks like she did it in gold embossing powder and then used cherry cobbler to color in the flowers. And then the leaves are colored in granny apple, little yellow flower centers, and then butterfly embossing folder. Cutest tag. I think that tag comes with the bundle. Little pearls all over. Then look how cute this is with the little dragonfly. Jude, that's very nice, very pretty. And it cost way too much to mail it, which is just not fair. But I love it. I'm going to display each of these like a few weeks at a time. Okay, so that is it for today's project. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe button. I hope you have a great day. Thanks. Bye.